Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, That One Weeb here, back with What If Naruto Had Devil Fruits 3D2Y. This being the completion from the beginning of Shippuden and the Kazekage arc all the way to the end. If you guys are new to this series and have no idea what's going on, make sure to go up top and check the upper right hand corner where I have a playlist of the past 7 parts covering part 1 of Naruto, where Naruto Uzumaki has the power of Kurama the Nine-Tails, who at some point in history devoured the Gura-Gura no Mi, the power to destroy the world. Anyway, before I get started with everything, make sure to slap the like button and comment down below something, because, please, the algorithm hates me so much. I don't know why. I don't know why, guys. But it's fine. Anyway, before we get into the story, I'd like to correct something I said in the last part. In part 7, I said the revived team of Sasuke, Naruto, and Hinata, but that's not true, because Orochimaru escaped with Sasuke at the Final Valley, leaving Naruto unconscious after he'd awakened Conqueror's Haki. So, what I meant to say was Sai, Naruto, and Hinata, with Kakashi being the team lead. Now that that's been corrected, because that would be really bad writing if Sasuke was in 2 places at once, we are back, now starting the Kazekage arc. And yes, for those of you who did not watch all the way through part 7, you should, because I confirmed that during the 3-year time skip, Naruto consumed another devil fruit under Jiraiya's tutelage and began training in it. A devil fruit that Jiraiya himself finds particularly annoying. But you guys will find out about that. I think this devil fruit is particularly fitting for Naruto. Some of you may disagree with me, and if you do, sorry, but I didn't want to write a cop-out and just make him a boring protagonist character. And it's not like I can give him the Hito Hito no Mi Model Nika, since Jiraiya's already eaten it. So, enough of that, let's get started. The Kazekage Rescue Mission arc begins. Sai has not yet been assigned to Team 7 because Danzo has no need to, so as of right now it's currently just Hinata, Kakashi, and Naruto. This will change in the next arc once Danzo catches wind of the Orochimaru's plans and also want to get a cut of the pie, if you know what I'm saying. But regardless, let's get started. So, Kakashi, Naruto, and Hinata, the revived Team 7 of the original 3 of 4, with Sasuke having gone to the dark side, would leave the village, per Lady Tsunade's orders, with the Phoenix herself ordering the 3 of them to leave, Jiraiya leaving to go back to maintain his spyware network, and also getting clues about a certain one calling themselves God, in a place known as the Land of Rain. A country that, up until now, had been on the ground, but within the last few months, apparently, something interesting happened. He had heard from rumors and folktales through the villages that were spreading around by word of mouth that clouds had descended from the heavens, lifting the industrialized city built by Hanzo the Salamander onto a cloud and into the sky. Jiraiya was off to investigate this new sky island. But regardless, this is where they parted ways. Jiraiya waving to his pupil one last time, telling him not to annoy his team too much, alright? Naruto would scoff at this, saying that they are not annoying, as he tells Jiraiya to screw off pervy sage with the things he had asked him to do. Naruto would scoff as Hinata asks what he meant. Naruto would laugh, saying, "Oh, she'll see when they start fighting." Anyway, the 3 would head out, leaving the gates behind as Naruto turns one last time, thinking, "Is this the sight that you saw, Sasuke?" With Naruto, Kakashi, and Hinata now leaving, they would walk for 3 days and 4 nights, finally seeing the outskirts of the Land of Wind. Upon entering it, there would be a hot desert, sandstorms curling around their face, the heat of the sun forcing sweat to drip down from their skin. And eventually they'd make their way into the city itself, looking completely bombarded. Apparently 2 strangers from this weird terrorist group called the Akatsuki, wearing red clouds, had come into the village and destroyed, completely wrecking the place. One of them causing explosions everywhere, and the other using some weird power to steal the One-Tails. But we'll get into that. Naruto, Kakashi, and Hinata would make their way to the Hokage office, where it has been revealed that Gaara has been kidnapped alongside the One-Tails. Of course, they had assumed Gaara had been kidnapped to claim the Sunasuna no Mi, the powerful Logia held by the Sand Village. As for the One-Tails, they don't really know. You see, in this world where devil fruits have become the main source of power, while the tailed beasts are surely monsters in their own right and can cause some serious damage, it's not like their skills are particularly useful aside from destroying things. So unless they're planning an all-scale attack on the entire planet, which no one thought would be something they'd want to do, the threat of Gaara's devil fruit being taken is much more terrifying to the Sand Village than just some huge monster they lock underground to keep the other villages at bay from attacking them with their own giant kaiju. Anyway, they make it into the Hokage's office to find it deserted when one of the secretaries of the office would let them know that everyone's moved over to the hospital where Lord Kankuro has been deadly poisoned. Naruto, Hinata, and Kakashi would head over there, where Kakashi would transform using his copy fruit into Tsunade, causing Granny Chiho, who had been working with her knowledge of poison to try and fix the boy, into a sputtering mess. Oh, I hate that blonde bimbo. Always using her powers to solve everything. She thinks that she can just nullify my poisons for flames, huh? Kakashi would say in Tsunade's voice, sorry about that, as he would turn his hand into blue flames, covering Kankuro and beginning to heal the poison by burning it away. Naruto would be super impressed, but as he watches, realizing that Kakashi can transform to Tsunade, he'd imagine Kakashi doing incredibly pervy things with his power. Wow, Kakashi-sensei, that power of yours sure is amazing. Hinata would turn, narrowing her eyes as she asks what's so amazing about it. Naruto would laugh, saying, Nothing, Hinata. I was just admiring how he can copy Lord Hokage's powers. Her powers. He would glance at Kakashi's bust. Kakashi would laugh as he transforms, his mask being pulled back up after healing Kankuro, with Kankuro beginning to explain what had happened to the Leaf Shinobi. It was awful. Gaara did his best, but even with the power of a Logia, they were just too strong. First, it was Deidara, that guy who left Iwagakure. He has the power of explosions. He can transform his body into bombs at will. That guy, he just started lighting up the place. And then don't even mention his partner. Grandma Chiho would look down in shame as Kankuro uttered the words she least wanted to hear. It was that bastard who betrayed us, Sasori. The guy who took the power of the poison devil fruit from our village. Chiho would wince, having been the one to give the poison fruit, the former fruit of Magellan in One Piece, to their now enemy. A fruit so powerful that just a single touch from its attacks can completely render someone almost dead. In fact, Kankuro was lucky that he had only been touched a little by the poison, giving him enough time with Chiho subsiding with medicine to allow Kakashi to get there and transform into Tsunade. By the way, this is probably a good time to explain what Kakashi's weakness was. I alluded to it a few parts ago, but I never got to it since it didn't really come up. Kakashi can use the copy fruit to transform into anyone whose face he touched and mimic their abilities. However, that's only abilities of the human body. So, for example, he can copy Tsunade's Zoan mythical devil fruit ability of creating flames from the phoenix. However, Kakashi himself cannot fly nor transform into the phoenix. So he's basically limited to powers that can only be used in a human form. This also means he cannot copy Logias at all. So if he copies Gaara or Sasuke, for example, even if he transforms into Sasuke, he won't be able to turn into flames. So essentially, most Zoans are basically useless for him, Paramecias are the best things for him to copy, and Mythical Zoans are his most overpowered ability. So he can copy people like Jiraiya, Tsunade, or anyone he's touched on the right side with his right hand, and use their abilities. Oh, and one last thing so you guys don't think he's going to be turning into a giant Buddha, he can only copy and transform into people who are still alive. So, for example, even if he had touched Lord Third, if he transformed into him, he wouldn't be able to use his power anymore since the devil fruit power has manifested within someone else. And so he can't do it. But, for example, if he had transformed to Lord Third a few years ago, yes, we technically could have had two people using the model Daibutsu at the same time, which is just crazy if you think about it. But anyway, that's Kakashi's weakness. Anyway, now that I've gotten that important detail out of the way, because otherwise his fruit is just so overpowered, it's basically the strongest in the universe, let's get back to the story. Naruto would ask Kankuro where they went, with Kankuro describing how they had left the village, saying that they needed to trap the tailed beast somewhere. Naruto would look over, nodding at Hinata. Hinata would walk to the window, opening her eyes as veins would begin to protrude, awakening her Byakugan. Using the Byakugan, she'd look around for miles outside the village, saying that she sees footprints, leaving imprints of chakra, saying they can follow them, but they need to hurry because the wind's starting to stamp them out. Kakashi would tell Naruto and Hinata to hurry, as he flees the room running with the both of them. As Chiyo turns, seeing his white hair, thinking of the white fang of Konoha. That must be him, huh? His son, the copy ninja. As such, since she both hates Tsunade, and his form he took, as well as Kakashi's father, Chiyo in this version of events does not decide to come with, leaving them to fend for themselves and saving their village. And so Kankuro would wish them all luck, as he says he would go with, but he's still too weakened after that attack he had taken, his immune system not having fully recovered yet, telling them to be careful. Naruto would smirk, saying there's no way he's gonna lose any more, saying he's way stronger now. Naruto would turn running off of Hinata and Kakashi, as they start following the tracks, making their way to that huge rock blocking the cave that was moved by Deidara and Sasori, where inside we actually see them using their Akatsuki rings because they have a purpose in this timeline. That purpose creating a connection between all members of the Akatsuki, focusing their power to seal the One-Tails. The One-Tails having been successfully sealed inside the Geto Mato statue. And finally being sealed, Sasori and Deidara be pooped, falling backward as the ritual would be over, as Gaara is on the brink of death, having watched the whole ceremony take place. Just as Deidara pulls out a bag of fruits from his cloak, saying that they've got plenty here for him to reincarnate into, Gaara would have fear in his eyes as he's unable to transform. Special sea stone cuffs having been crafted by the Akatsuki would be wrapped around his arms, blocking him from transforming and weakening his powers. Just as he's about to kill Gaara, suddenly Hinata would appear using her armament haki and completely destroying the front door using Ryo, advanced armament haki, shattering the boulder with ease with her Byakugan to spot any weaknesses within the rock. As the two Akatsuki members return, Sasori prepared to transform into his Venom Demon mode, and Deidara about to explode stuff because art is an explosion and all that, am I right? This is when the plan would take place, with Naruto saying he'll take on the poison guy, Kakashi and Hinata taking on Explosive Dude, referring to Deidara and Sasori. Hey, isn't that the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki? How convenient. I bet the boss will be pretty happy when they find what we caught walking in. Deidara would chuckle. Kakashi would laugh at this, saying that they're going to have to get through them first before they can take Naruto anywhere. Hinata move in blinding fast speeds to attack Deidara, with him jumping out of the way as he explodes a wall out of the cave. Running outside as he lures Kakashi and Hinata away, giving Sasori time to defeat and immobilize that Jinchuriki and help him take out these other two shinobi. Naruto would just stand there as he pounds his hand to his fist, saying bring it, as he covers his fist in Hashoken, that being his now perfected technique with his frog-style Hashoken. Sasori would laugh as he transforms into a Venom Dragon, blasting the venom in Naruto's way. Naruto would smirk, saying he's got him, as a strange power would cover his hand as Naruto throws his hand out, an orange light covering it. Talk no jutsu! Not literally, but this is basically what his new power is, because Naruto would create a homie. Using a fraction of his soul, he would turn the Venom Dragon into his ally, fracturing a piece of his soul using the Soru Soru no Mi he consumed and started training with during the 3 years. It's at this point that we would see Sasori's horror as his own dragon turns, roaring as it obeys its new master, with Naruto and two voices saying, "Alright!" We see during the time skip, Naruto and Jiraiya had been traveling to multiple villages, with one of the villages having claimed that random monsters were appearing all over the village and they had no idea why, according to people's deaths. This is when Naruto and Jiraiya would have found this grunt, using his Delphi power he had acquired randomly found in the forest, to attack and manipulate the villagers into believing he was some sort of god, creating monsters out of the elements and materials before Naruto and Jiraiya would take him down. Naruto reacting and turning to Nine-Tails state and accidentally killing him. This is when the Delphi would reincarnate. Naruto would have felt awful with him having lost control of the Nine-Tails, Jiraiya shunning him and apologizing to the villagers for having killed someone. The villagers, though, would be pleased, saying that they were free finally from that terrible guy who had been manipulating all of them. They would offer the reincarnated Delphi to Naruto, saying that since he had taken it out, it's only fair that he either sells it to someone else or hangs on to it as a safekeeping, since it's clear he already has his own devil fruit power. Naruto would take the fruit, deciding what to do with it after a few days, as one day he'd simply just eat it, having felt that this was the right thing to do. Jiraiya would have become annoyed very quickly, as Naruto would use the power of the Soro no Mi much differently than he had witnessed in the village. Instead of making beings to terrorize other people, Naruto, who had always been lonely his entire life, was finally able to make his own friends. Quite literally. So Naruto, while he had been walking and training with Jiraiya, would have, through the multiple shinobi and other people they had defeated, create homies with their souls, using said souls to create his own friends who would talk shit about Jiraiya. Jiraiya one day even asked Naruto to, "Hey Naruto, can you make a cloud in this shape?" as he makes an hourglass figure. Naruto would call him a pervert, saying that he'd be putting his own soul into that at this point, and the rest of the homies at that time would have been completely mad at Jiraiya as well. Jiraiya would have gotten mad, killing Naruto's homies and making him sad. This is when Naruto and Jiraiya's little rivalry and Jiraiya calling him annoying would start, and Naruto would have gotten used to this power. Back to the present, where Naruto has already learned the powers of his Soro no Mi, we see him now with his Venom Dragon friend, as he turns looking at him saying that he needs a little bit of his help. Naruto would exert his power over souls, telling him to merge, as they would combine their powers. Naruto's hair would take on a purple-like sheen, as a cloak of poison would coat his body, being completely immune to it with the power of his homie helping him out, his specialized homie. He'd look up, his eyes now turning purple as well, as he looks at Sasori saying, "I wonder if you're immune to poison too." Garby watching amazed, saying that he's gotten even stronger, as Naruto's poison versus poison fruit battle would begin. Now before we switch back to Kakashi and Hinata versus Deidara, all I'm gonna say is that for those of you wondering why Naruto can make specialized homies, why I gave him Big Mom's fruit, what is going on so much, let me explain, because I can feel the comments, and I haven't even made the video. I'm still recording the audio for this, and I can feel the comments saying,
I think Naruto would have been cooler if he had the Pika Pika no Mi, since, you know, he's the protagonist and he's all about the sun and light and stuff, or the Hito Hito no Mi, or, I don't know, Blackbeard's fruit.
Well, shut up. That's lame. You're lame. Now then, back to the point. Naruto's character is all about making bonds and connections. It's all about Ninshu, how he creates bonds with other people, the power of friendship, and how his talk no jutsu convinces his villains of how he's correct, and how he rises into the light and Sasuke descends into the dark. That is why this power is so fitting for him. Naruto is an Uzumaki, meaning they have a high amount of life energy. Kushina was able to survive a tailed beast being pulled out of her, enough to where she could still use her special Kekkei Genkai of chakra chains and almost reseal the Nine Tails, okay? So Naruto also has that Uzumaki chakra pool, is able to fracture his chakra, and just like Big Mom, create really specialized homies with ease. This fruit is perfect for him. He has tons of life energy, which is like soul energy. He loves to make clones of himself in the real one, like shadow clones, so this way he can make more copies of himself using the Soro no Mi to make homies, and he can infuse other people's Delphi abilities into himself, which is one of the most innovative ways of fighting, as we saw Big Mom do by combining herself with Prometheus to give herself like a flame hairdo. Now Naruto is even more busted. He's able to make more friends. He has a funny power that I can use for comedic scenes. It's good, okay? If you're hating on this, you have no taste. You probably think Akanu's the strongest in One Piece, and Big Mom, you're underrating her. Naruto has the power of Pops and Big Mom. He's literally just, he's just the guy, okay? All right, enough of explaining myself to you, unfaced person. Let's get back to the story for everyone else who actually understands my goated writing. Signed and certified by Oda himself. I'm just kidding, that last part was a little extreme. But anyway, let's get back to the fight. Kakashi and Hinata would be taking on Deidara, who, instead of using it in a gross way like making his bombs explode, would actually have something pretty interesting up his sleeve. Deidara would lick his own hand with his saliva, touching spots and making effectively trap bombs, using his saliva as explosives. I think this is pretty interesting for Deidara to use his powers like this, considering in the original timeline he has hands on his mouth and chews up his bombs. So I think him using his saliva instead of boogers and using it to like implant bombs and traps is more fitting for him. It was either that or the wax fruit, and you guys know he's all about the explosives, so. Anyway, Hinata will be using her Byakugan to identify the chakra traces in saliva on the ground as she warns Kakashi. Kakashi would laugh as he transforms into Jiraiya, stretching his arms back as he uses a Gomu Gomu no Bazooka, launching his fists at Deidara. Deidara would lick his hand, throwing it out with a punch as he explodes his fist and his saliva. The explosive would hit Kakashi back, causing him to even singe his hands. Because Kakashi is kind of a jack of all trades, he doesn't know how to use more people's specialized abilities. Like, he hasn't trained under Jiraiya exactly, so it's not like he knows how to use any of the gears. So he can't use gear 2 or 3. Also, Kakashi is more like Law in the sense that he doesn't use Haki as much as most Jonin or other people, since he has such a wide variety of Devil Fruit abilities. So Hinata's really carrying the Haki here, okay? Hinata would use her Hyuga-style Taijutsu, along with the Byakugan and Haki, to do internal damage to Deidara. Moving faster than him and being able to avoid all his attacks, Hinata would be a perfect counter for him, causing him to run and flee. With him turning as he creates a huge explosion of smoke and running off into the forest, leaving explosions on trees and causing him to fall down behind him, blocking Hinata and Kakashi's path, as Kakashi would tell Hinata to not go after him, saying that they need to go back and save the Kazekage, being Gaara. Naruto would be still fighting Sasori, blasting poison at each other, as Naruto would be dodging and weaving out of the way, using Hashoken to make big balls and bubbles of poison explode in Sasori's face. Sasori would suddenly feel a weird rumbling in his stomach as he starts having the urge to relieve himself. Time out, my guts, it's Taco Bell and it doesn't even exist. As he's crippling himself in pain, Naruto would hit him with one more enhanced poison fist, as Sasori would go tumbling, getting thrown to a stalagmite and being impaled through the stomach. Sasori would cough out blood as he would begin to fade away and die, his Delver reincarnating into that bag of apples that Deidara had opened before. But before he dies, he would tell Naruto one thing: the information about his informant from the Land of Grass meeting with him at Tenchi Bridge, that informant working under Orochimaru. Naruto would watch as Sasori's life fades away, now moving into one of the fruits. Naruto would pick up the bag, deciding to take it back with him, as he then gives a fist bump to his poisoned friend, saying that it's been a great time. Naruto would reabsorb his soul fragment back into himself, as he would step out of the way, the poison falling to the ground and splattering, as Naruto would laugh, saying that was pretty fun. He'd walk over to Gaara, who's too weak to move, picking him up and throwing him over his shoulder, as he would carry the bag and Gaara out, meeting with Hinata and Kakashi, telling him what he found out and also the death of the Akatsuki member. And with that, Naruto, Kakashi, and Hinata would take Gaara back to the sand, with Gaara having fallen unconscious after Naruto's fight. Naruto would conveniently leave out what had happened to the Devil Fruit, with him swiping it and keeping it in his pocket. After the fight was over and they were on their way back, they stopped in a nearby cave. Naruto would pull out the Devil Fruit as he hands it to Hinata. He'd blush, saying that he knows Hinata doesn't have a Devil Fruit, so if she would like one, Hinata would accept it as a gift, thanking Naruto, saying that for now though she won't eat it. Naruto would look up asking, why? As she would laugh out loud, saying, well, if all three of us had Devil Fruits, well, what would happen if either of you fell into water, huh? Naruto would laugh at this, saying, I don't think that's gonna happen. Hinata would laugh, chuckling as she places the fruit down, as she leans over whispering, but if it ever does, then I want to be the first one to save you. Yeah, she got that riz. Naruto would blush and Kakashi would laugh, saying that it seems Hinata has a point. The three of them would fall asleep, waking up and returning back to the Leaf Village, with Hinata offering the poison Devil Fruit, the former powerful fruit that had belonged to the Sand Village, to Tsunade. Tsunade would take it, placing it within their vault of Devil Fruits, thanking Hinata for retrieving it, saying that since they are allies of the Sand Village, it'd probably be in her best interest to return this at a later date. Naruto would sigh, saying after all the trouble he had gone through swiping it, Tsunade would punch him in the head, saying that he should have at least gambled for it like she would have. It's clear Jiraiya's had an influence on you, huh? Jiraiya? What do you mean? Tsunade would tell Naruto about how when Jiraiya was a kid, he had gone gambling one time by himself out to a bar, where he met this weird guy with red hair and a scar, who had offered the fruit to him if he could beat him in a competition of wit. That wit being getting pictures of the barmaid in the bathroom. Tsunade would sigh, saying he's always been like that, as Jiraiya had won the bet, giving the red-haired man the pictures, as he would give him the Devil Fruit. Jiraiya taking it as he had now finally become a Delphi Eater just like her and Orochimaru had been. Of course, my situation was a little different, as she recalls how she had inherited her grandmother, Mito Uzumaki's Phoenix no Mi. Inheriting devil fruits is pretty common in this world, where families try and keep a power such as the Kage no Mi within the Shikamaru's family, so this answer's a little boring. Kakashi would not have strained his Sharingan here, so there's no need for him to be hospitalized, which means Yamato isn't going to be introduced, which is weird to say, because I actually kind of like Yamato. I think he's cool, he kind of introduces us to the Hokage, but we don't get Yamato yet. And so Sai would be introduced, being added to the team as its fourth member, as well as Sasuke's replacement against Tsunade's will by Danzo. The new team with Sai added would be then sent on their way to, according to Naruto's information again from that Akatsuki member, to meet up with Sasori's informant under Orochimaru and find out what's going on in the Sound Village, what devil fruits they've obtained, any information possible, so they can begin to defend against the menace of Orochimaru. Anyway, the new squad would head out, with Sai making that comment about Naruto's balls, and Hinata quickly activating her Byakugan and confirming that Sai was wrong. I'm not gonna say anything more than that. Naruto would point his finger at Sai, saying that if he continues making fun of him, then he's gonna give him a world of hurt. Sai would laugh at this, saying he overheard that Naruto had consumed a devil fruit of some random ruffian while on his journey, saying it can't possibly be that powerful. And Sai has good reason for this. While we know that the Sword of Soronomi is actually a busted devil fruit that was once in the hands of a Yonko, no one else knows this. Because in Naruto, in order for someone to become feared and actually have the Sword of Soro's main powers of being able to take people's souls when they're afraid of you, be powerful, you have to be well known. And in Naruto's world, the people who are well known have to be strong already, which means they either A, have to have learned Haki at a young age to survive, or they already have a devil fruit. So there's no way someone who would need to already be strong could consume the Soru Sora no Mi, unless it was really by happenstance, like what happened to Naruto. So it's actually really realistic that the Soul Fruit isn't known for being as powerful as it really is yet, because someone who has it needs to already be famous and powerful to even survive long enough for it to be effective. I hope that makes sense, but if you guys think about it, you'll understand. Basically, a lot of Big Mom's power in One Piece comes from that she can intimidate people because of her Yonko status and her power in the world, which makes her fruit more effective. But without any notoriety, most people aren't going to be afraid of you unless you have a really menacing appearance like she does, like a Walmart shopper. And Naruto's kind of a lovable guy, so it's not like that's going for him at all. Until he turns into the Nine-Tails, at least. Well, things are going to get pretty interesting. What is convenient about having Kakashi on the Tenshi Bridge mission, though, is his clone fruit. With the ability to transform into Sasori by touching his corpse. Remember, he can transform into people, but he can't use their devil fruit abilities, meaning he can't use his poison ability. However, he still can transform into Sasori. So, Kakashi's going to be pretty useful here. When they arrive, Naruto had split a fraction of his soul, creating a homie out of air, a cloud homie that he would connect to another cloud, naming the two of them both Mimi, M-I-M-I, which, if you care, means ear in Japanese. Haha, funny pun. Basically, Naruto would ask the two to keep one of them by them, him and Hinata and Sai, and the other underneath the bridge. The other one flying under, obeying his master's commands, as the light from the orange of Naruto's chakra would disappear, as the two would have a shared frequency, transporting the sound waves through the air through vibrations through each other and acting sort of like a cell phone. With this, Naruto, Hinata, and Sai could listen in on the conversation from under the bridge, and Kakashi could warn them with a signal in case he needs them to jump in and help, in case something goes wrong. Mimi would begin making strange sounds as the electronic waves of sound would begin transmitting between the two Mimis. Naruto looked down saying, "I think she's saying something," as the cloud would begin speaking to Naruto, Hinata, and Sai, as this strange cloaked figure is beginning to walk over the bridge. "Ah, Lord Sasori, I see you made it to our meeting spot." Kakashi would turn disguised as Sasori as he begins walking forward. Kabuto would suddenly pull out a kunai, seeking to attack his old master, saying that it's over, Lord Sasori. It's at that point that Naruto would hear it through Mimi, as him, Sai, and Hinata would leap into action. Naruto would then increase Mimi's size by increasing the soul ray, as he and Hinata would leap on the cloud, flying down towards the bridge, as Sai would use his weird devil fruit ability of the brush fruit. The ink fruit that in the original anime was eaten by Kurazumi Kondro, but here Sai has it. Sai would create a flying dragon as he leaps onto it, chasing after the cloud that Naruto and Hinata are riding, as Naruto would jump off the cloud, landing on top of the bridge and blocking the strike alongside Kakashi. Hinata would also jump off the cloud as Mimi would gang up back with her other half, and the two would re-emerge back into one big cloud. It is at this point that we have that speech from Orochimaru saying Sasuke has become a different person, emphasizing how his deeds across the land as one of his commanders, Sasuke being known as Mephisto, that being his epithet as the Demon of Flames. Sasuke had been terrorizing innocents, helping Orochimaru in collecting devil fruits and increasing his army's strength. This would piss Naruto off, acting like he owned Sasuke, as Naruto says Sasuke isn't owned by anyone, telling him to stop treating him like he's some tool. Orochimaru would laugh, transforming to the model Orochi, telling him to bring it. Fox. Naruto would raise his hand as he's getting pissed, the chakra covering his body of the Nine Tails, as the cloud beneath him is beginning to be corrupted with more power from the Nine Tails, Mimi also entering into a Nine Tails state, his soul being enhanced by the Nine Tails. As it begins turning into a huge cumulonimbus cloud, Naruto would coat his hand in the cloud, running forward as he throws a punch now covered in the One Tail's cloak. Lightning style. Hashoken! Naruto would combine his Hashoken of vibration with electricity from Mimi, using the power of the Soul Fruit and his training together, and combining it once more with now the Nine Tails activated with the Gura-Gura no Mi, creating a 3-powered attack. A quake so powered and powered by lightning that Orochimaru's first head that would strike at Naruto would be slashed off and burned by the electricity. It looks like Jiraiya wasn't slacking with you, was he, boy? But you're still nothing compared to Sasuke. I'm gonna have to rip more of your heads off so I can make you shut the hell up. Naruto! Hinata would stretch her hand out. Naruto would hold his hand back, saying that he'll take care of the Sannin, saying that it's time for him to get some payback for when he had ran away in their last fight. Remember Orochimaru? 3 years ago when you ran away? Naruto would grit his teeth as the Nine Tails is starting to lose control, as with his last amount of strength he splits Mimi in half, covering both of his fists with electric clouds, and then enhances her with his newfound power of Sage Haki, or Conquerors. Orange and red lightning would cover his fists, as 3 of Orochimaru's 7 heads would then strike. Now, Naruto would move forward at blinding flash speeds, the second and third tails growing, as with the last of his sanity, he's able to channel his power, destroying all 3 heads as the electricity travels up Orochimaru's body, causing him to feel immense pain, as the Conquerors would enhance his power even more. I'm surprised someone like Jiraiya was able to help you train it. That fool. He never had any kingly ambitions of his own. I'm surprised he's even managed to become a sage at all. Naruto would roar, transforming to the 3-tailed state of the Nine Tails, losing access to the rest of his powers of the Hashoken arts, as well as the Soul Fruit, and going full on just Gura-Gura no Mi, rage, speed, and power, as he begins cracking the earth with earthquakes, throwing Orochimaru around like a rag doll. It's at this point that Naruto would start showing an ability that has until this point not been shown in the series, the Biju Dama. He would condense chakra, his body getting heavier as he consumes it, swallowing it, his body crushing into the ground. This time, Orochimaru doesn't have jutsu, so he's down to 2 heads now, and he's seeing his life flash before his eyes. Just as the Biju Bomb was released, suddenly a massive golden Buddha would appear, blocking the attack of a shockwave. That's right, Jugo and Sasuke would arrive, 2 of Orochimaru's commanders of his grand army. Sasuke would arrive in a torrent of flames, asking what the hell Orochimaru was doing, saying he should be using his haki. Jugo would have managed to block the blast, having transformed into the giant Daibutsu. Using the power that he had taken from the 3rd Hokage, Orochimaru had imbued it into Jugo. Jugo still possesses his Kekkei Genkai since those are still in this series, allowing him to absorb nature energy. This meaning that he can absorb haki from the air and also basically tank haki attacks with minimal damage. And with the Mal Daibutsu, he can negate the power of devil fruits quite easily. So he's pretty busted. Sasuke would look down at the monster Naruto has become as he asks Orochimaru, pointing his fingers into a pistol-like shape, asking if he should kill him now. Orochimaru would laugh, saying, "Actually, if you would believe me, this form is weaker than what I was fighting earlier." Orochimaru remembering when Naruto had been fully conscious with the two-tail state and the amount of power that had gone directed with Conqueror's haki imbued into his powers, plus that weird devil fruit he's never seen before. Hinata would get distracted from her and Kakashi's fight with Kabuto as she looks up, seeing Sasuke floating over the abyss of the ravine, coated in flames. This is when Sai would go on his bird, traveling towards Sasuke as he's prepared to attack him, creating an ink sword, slashing at Sasuke and coating it with haki. Just basic armament haki. Sasuke's back would have been turned, but he dodged the attack easily, as if though he had eyes in the back of his head. He then do a kickflip, covering his foot in armament haki and slamming it into Sai's head, causing him to fall down into the ravine below unconscious. Mimi would be flying under the bridge for Naruto's last order as the cloud would catch Sai, lifting him back up to the bridge. Sasuke would wonder what that annoying thing is as he tries to shoot at the cloud, but Naruto would get in front of the way, teleporting with his speed as he blocks the flame, eating it with his teeth. He would then throw a Gura-Gura enhanced fist, or I guess I should say the Nine Tails would, causing the air to crack, as Sasuke would be pushed back from a quake through the air. Sasuke would recover, moving back through the air as he turns, seeing his fellow commander Jugo block the quake with his fist, his palms creating shockwaves, as the Nine Tails and Jugo, known now as Gaia the Earthshaker, would be battling in earthquakes. Sasuke, or Mephisto as his title, his epithet, as a general of Orochimaru, would fly down to Orochimaru, picking up the weakened master and flying him back to the hideout, telling Jugo to catch up after he defeats that brat. As the giant Jugo is about to slam a fist onto the three-tailed state Naruto, Kabuto would have been picked up by Sasuke's other arm and would have been removed from the fight. Kakashi would then intervene, transforming himself into Jiraiya as he uses his Gum Gum Balloon, blowing himself into a huge balloon and blocking the fist. This would cause the model Daibutsu to be pushed back as Jugo falls backwards. Kurama's seal would begin tightening once again, and Hinata would run forward, telling Naruto it's okay, he can calm down. But Naruto would turn, scratching at Hinata and scratching her arm, poison of the chakra infecting her as Hinata falls back, tears in her eyes, watching Naruto in this monstrous-like state. Sai is unconscious. Kakashi just pushed Jugo back. Jugo's now fallen onto the ground backwards as a huge dust cloud would push up, and he would de-transform, running off after Sasuke and fleeing. Kakashi would run back, seeing Naruto is still out of control, as he uses his Sharingan, using it for the first time in Shippuden and transforming it into the Kamui, using this to suppress the Nine Tails. Mimi would come up wondering if Naruto's alright as Kakashi falls over, using way too much chakra. He would then walk over to Hinata, stumbling as he transforms into Tsunade, creating blue flames and healing her from the Nine Tails' deadly chakra. After which, he and Hinata would both fall over on the ground, with all four of them being wiped out from the battle. Back to Sasuke's side of things, this is when Orochimaru looks up, saying that unlike his student, it seems Jiraiya's student's been working on already mastering Sage Haki. Sasuke would quickly have a glare of anger in his face, saying he just hasn't awakened it yet, saying he's certain that he's a conqueror, just like his master. There's no way that kid has something I don't. Of course I have it. I also can use that haki, the haki of a king. After all, I'm Sasuke Uchiha, an avenger. There's no way that he has more ambition than I do. Sasuke would feel somewhat wronged by Naruto's just existence, feeling that he's somehow not completely surpassed him, wondering how that can be. Little does he know that Naruto has two devil fruits inside of him, with that being the Nine Tails power as well as his own now, and is currently far beyond Sasuke in terms of strength. That is, when it comes to his haki and his devil fruit. For now, Naruto would be the first to wake up with Mimi asking if he's alright, Naruto petting the clown saying he's just fine. He coughed, looking over and seeing what the others are doing, as Kakashi, Sai, and Hinata would all be breathing heavily from the battle. Naruto would stand up, telling Mimi to grow bigger as he holds his hand out, the orange light of his soul enhancing the cloud as he throws his teammates on top, riding the other half of Mimi as they go back to the village. With him not having been awake, knowing where Sasuke or Orochimaru went, there's no way he can hunt them down by himself, and after seeing what he had seen with the third Hokage's Devil Fruit, Naruto would decide, based off of the training with Jiraiya, that this is a good time to go back and report to Tsunade, thus bringing an end to the Teichi Bridge arc, even if Naruto really does want to go after Sasuke. But even he knows, the fact is all of them are wiped out and exhausted. There's nothing they can do right now, so this is time for a tactical retreat. Naruto would fly back to the Leaf Village on his clouds, with them returning to the gates and him passing out unconscious from the energy he just used. Bringing us to the first half end of What If Naruto Had Devil Fruits 3D 2Y. I decided to cut this in half because the rendering time is obnoxious and I want you guys to get a video. So I'm going to have this part coming out earlier and then I'll have the second part covering after, during the events of the Kakuzu and Hidan stuff, all the way until the end of Shippuden and the last. So if you guys enjoyed this part of What If Naruto Devil Fruits, make sure to show me some love. Comment down below what your favorite part about this was. And if you really hated the idea of Naruto having the Soto no Mi, let me know what Devil Fruit he should have had, because I'm so wrong. So, you know, I'm not offended, it's fine.
It was in fact not fine.
But no, I'm actually just playing. Let me know what Devil Fruit you guys think Naruto would have had that would be more fitting than what I picked. I like this power set for him. It gives him some variety. I feel like it makes him more like Kakashi in the fact he has different outlets of things he can do. I'm liking it. Hinata I'm keeping as sort of this hockey master, less of using her a Devil Fruit because, like she said herself, I need someone to go and swim and save them. So if Sai had fallen into that river, he would have drowned. But alas, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Dane!